Welcome to Delta Wing Aviation Academy, where we prepare you for takeoff.
Welcome back to this continuation of the medical certificate video. In this section, we'll be discussing SODA, and no, not the drink you have. It stands for Statement of Demonstrated Ability, Special Issuance Medical Certificates. So without further delay, let's begin. SODA, Statement of Demonstrated Ability. What is SODA? A SODA, Statement of Demonstrated Ability, is an FAA determination that allows a pilot with a disqualifying medical condition to exercise pilot privileges, provided the condition is stable and does not interfere with the safe operation of an aircraft. It is issued when the FAA evaluates a condition and concludes that, despite the limitation, the pilot can safely fly. Simple explanation, think of SODA as, you have a medical condition, but you have demonstrated that you can still safely operate an aircraft. How SODA works. The pilot undergoes a special medical evaluation. An aviation medical examiner, AME, may recommend additional testing. The FAA reviews the medical reports and history. If satisfied, the FAA issues a SODA. This confirms the pilot's ability to safely operate an aircraft despite the condition. Key points. SODA is typically used for static or non-progressive conditions. It confirms that the pilot can safely operate despite the limitation. It does not cure the condition. It only documents demonstrated ability. It applies only to the specific condition evaluated. Important, a SODA does not replace a medical certificate. The pilot must still hold a valid FAA medical certificate and comply with applicable regulations such as FAR 6153. Real-world examples. Example 1, missing small finger. Let's say a pilot has lost a small finger in an accident, but is otherwise medically fit with full strength, coordination, and control. The condition is permanent. However, it may not affect safe aircraft operation. The FAA may require the pilot to demonstrate the ability to safely control the aircraft without that finger. If successful, a SODA may be issued. Example 2, color vision deficiency, color blindness. Another example is a pilot with color vision deficiency, commonly known as color blindness. The pilot may have difficulty distinguishing certain colors, especially red and green. This could affect interpretation of signals, lights, or displays. The FAA may conduct color vision testing or require operational demonstration of safe interpretation of aviation signals. If the pilot demonstrates adequate ability, a SODA may be issued. Special Issuance Medical Certificate. What is it? A Special Issuance Medical Certificate is an FAA-issued medical certificate granted to a pilot who does not meet standard medical requirements, but is approved to fly under specific conditions and monitoring requirements. Simple explanation. Think of it as, you have a medical condition, but the FAA allows you to fly with special approval in ongoing conditions. When is it used? Special issuance may be considered for conditions such as cardiovascular disease, diabetes controlled with medication, certain neurological conditions, certain mental health conditions. These conditions are not automatically disqualifying if properly evaluated and managed. How it works, the pilot applies through an AME. The AME may defer the case to the FAA. The FAA reviews all medical reports, tests, and history. If approved, a Special Issuance Medical Certificate is granted. This certificate may include periodic medical evaluations, required follow-up reports, ongoing monitoring conditions. Key points. It is time-limited. It requires FAA authorization. It involves ongoing monitoring and compliance. It must be renewed or revalidated as required. SODA versus Special Issuance, quick difference. Validity comparison, SODA, Statement of Demonstrated Ability. does not have a fixed expiration date like a medical certificate. It is condition-specific and remains valid unless otherwise restricted. However, it does not replace a medical certificate. The pilot must still hold a valid FAA medical certificate and comply with FAR 6153. Special Issuance Medical Certificate has a defined validity period, issued based on FAA approval and medical condition, requires periodic evaluations, reports, and monitoring, must be renewed or revalidated as required by the FAA. Simple comparison: SODA to condition-based authorization, no fixed validity; special issuance, time-limited medical certificate with monitoring. Important clarification: even with a SODA, a pilot must hold a valid FAA medical certificate, comply with FAR 6153, self-assessment before flying. Final simple line: SODA is its FAA recognition that a pilot can safely operate despite a specific condition, while special issuance is a time-limited medical certificate granted with FAA approval and ongoing monitoring requirements. Check ride questions. SODA and special issuance. Question: what is a SODA? Answer: a statement of demonstrated ability is an FAA determination that allows a pilot with a disqualifying medical condition to fly if the condition is stable and does not affect safe operation. Next question: does a SODA replace a medical certificate? Answer: no. A pilot must still hold a valid FAA medical certificate. SODA only addresses the specific disqualifying condition. Next question: when would the FAA issue a SODA? Answer: when a pilot has a static or non-progressive medical condition and has demonstrated the ability to safely operate an aircraft. Next question: what is a special issuance medical certificate? Answer: a medical certificate issued by the FAA to a pilot with certain medical conditions, allowing them to fly under specific conditions with ongoing monitoring. Next question: give examples of conditions that may require special issuance. Answer: conditions such as controlled diabetes, heart disease, or certain neurological or mental health conditions may qualify if properly managed. Next question: what is required to maintain a special issuance medical certificate? Answer: ongoing compliance with FAA requirements, including periodic medical evaluations, reports, and follow-up examinations. Next question: what is the role of an AME in special issuance cases? Answer: the AME performs the initial evaluation and may defer the case to the FAA for final review and approval. Next question: who ultimately decides special issuance approval? Answer: the FAA, based on medical documentation, test results, and AME recommendations. Next question: what is the key difference between SODA and special issuance? Answer: SODA is a demonstration-based authorization for a specific condition, while special issuance is a time-limited medical certificate with FAA monitoring and renewal requirements. Thanks for watching. If this helped you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us continue creating clear, FAA accurate aviation education. Fly safe, and I'll see you in the next video.